Morning, everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the most dramatic stories in modern football, a tale that captured the hearts of fans around the world and then, just as quickly, broke them. Now, we all remember that magical season, don't we? The year when Leicester City, a club written off by pundits and bookmakers alike, rose from the shadows to become the kings of English football. When Leicester City, against all odds, defied the Giants and clinched the Premier League title in 2016, it was more than just a sporting achievement. It was a global sensation. The world watched in awe as Jamie Vardy, Riyad Mahrez, and N'Golo Kante led the charge, orchestrated by the charismatic Claudio Ranieri. It was a fairy tale, a testament to the underdog spirit, the stuff of dreams. Fans poured into the streets, the city was painted blue, and for a moment, anything seemed possible in football. Leicester's story inspired millions, reminding us all why we love the game. But sadly, dreams fade, and this past season, Leicester City found themselves relegated from the top flight. The same club that once conquered the Premier League now faces the harsh reality of Championship football. It's a tough pill to swallow for the Foxes faithful, but as they say, in football, you're only as good as your last match. The pain of relegation is raw, and the questions are many. How did it come to this? Where did it all go wrong? So what went wrong? How did the champions fall so far, so fast? Was it a slow, inevitable decline, or a series of sudden missteps that led to their downfall? The answers are complex and the story is filled with twists and turns. Well, that's what we're going to delve into today. We'll look beyond the headlines and dig into the details, examining the decisions, the drama, and the disappointments that shaped Leicester's fate. We're going to dissect the demise of Leicester City, analyzing the 7 key reasons behind their downfall. From the boardroom to the dressing room, from tactical blunders to off-field distractions, every aspect will be put under the microscope. From managerial mishaps to questionable transfers, we'll leave no stone unturned. We'll explore how recruitment strategies faltered, how leadership changed, and how the club's identity seemed to slip away with each passing season. Get ready for a deep dive into the tactical trenches, folks, as we try to understand how the mighty have fallen and what lessons can be learned from Leicester City's dramatic descent. Whether you're a Foxes fan or just a lover of football's unpredictable nature, this is a story you won't want to miss. Let's unravel the 7 reasons behind Leicester City's fall from grace. First up, let's talk about the man at the helm, or, more accurately, the revolving door of managers that defined Leicester City's season. When you look at a football club's success, stability at the top is often a key ingredient. But for Leicester, this past year was anything but stable. The leadership situation was in constant flux, and that uncertainty trickled down to every corner of the club. Or should I say, the men at the helm. Leicester City's managerial situation has been about as stable as a wonky table leg this past year. The club started the season with high hopes, but as the months rolled on, it became clear that the foundation was shaky. The constant speculation about the manager's future, the whispers in the press, and the uncertainty in the dressing room all combined to create a tense atmosphere. Players and fans alike were left wondering who would be leading them from one week to the next. They started the season with Brendan Rodgers, a man who had brought them FA Cup glory just a couple of seasons back. Under Rodgers, Leicester had played some of their best football in recent memory, and there was genuine belief that he could guide them to even greater heights. But football is a results business, and as the losses piled up, the pressure became unbearable. The team struggled to find form, and the confidence that once radiated from the squad seemed to evaporate. We've seen this story before, haven't we? Rodgers parted ways with the club in April, leaving behind a legacy of both triumph and disappointment. Enter stage left Dean Smith. Now Dean's a good manager, no doubt about it, and he's shown his ability to steady the ship at other clubs. But he was thrown right into the thick of a relegation battle with only a handful of games to go. Imagine being asked to perform open-heart surgery with the clock ticking down. Every decision, every substitution, every tactical tweak was under the microscope. The pressure was immense, and the margin for error was razor-thin. It was a tough ask for anyone, and sadly he couldn't pull off a miracle. 2 wins weren't enough to save them, and Leicester City's fate was sealed. The heartbreak was palpable, not just for the players and staff, but for the entire fan base who had dared to dream of another great escape. But it wasn't just about who was in the dugout. The constant chopping and changing, the different philosophies, it all contributed to a lack of identity and direction on the pitch. The players looked lost at times, unsure of their roles, and that lack of cohesion was evident in their performances. When a team doesn't know what it stands for or what's expected of them, it's almost impossible to build momentum. The confusion was clear in their body language, heads down, arms raised in frustration, and a sense of resignation that crept in as the season wore on. In the end, Leicester City's season became a cautionary tale about the dangers of instability at the top and how quickly things can unravel when there's no clear plan or leadership to guide the way. Now let's talk about the transfer market. Every summer, football fans around the world hold their breath as clubs scramble to sign new players, hoping to find that one missing piece of the puzzle. The transfer window is a whirlwind of rumors, negotiations, and last-minute deals, with fortunes made and lost in a matter of weeks. It's a bit like a game of high-stakes poker, isn't it? Managers and executives sit across the table, bluffing, strategizing, and sometimes risking it all for a big win. The stakes are enormous, and the pressure to deliver is relentless. You need a cool head, a keen eye for a bargain, and a bit of luck. Scouting networks are sent across continents, data analysts crunch numbers late into the night, and every decision is scrutinized by fans and pundits alike. The right signing can transform a team's fortunes, but the wrong one can set a club back years. Unfortunately for Leicester, their luck seemed to have run out. The optimism that once filled the King Power Stadium was replaced by anxiety and frustration as results failed to improve, despite the influx of new faces. They spent a fair bit, mind you, but it was a case of quantity over quality. The club's owners opened their wallets hoping that investment would translate into success, but the strategy backfired. Too many players came in, many of whom didn't quite fit the bill. Instead of building a cohesive squad, Leicester ended up with a patchwork of individuals who struggled to gel on the pitch. It was like trying to fit square pegs in round holes. The new signings often looked lost, unsure of their roles, and unable to adapt to the demands of Premier League football. And then there was the curious case of Wout Faes. Signed with high hopes, he was expected to shore up the defense and bring stability to the back line. The Belgian defender arrived with a decent reputation, but sadly he'll be remembered for all the wrong reasons. His confidence seemed to evaporate under the spotlight, and costly mistakes began to pile up. Own goals galore, it was almost comical. Each blunder became a talking point, and the pressure only mounted as the season wore on. The lack of a proven goal scorer was another glaring issue. Time and again, chances went begging, and the team's inability to convert opportunities left them vulnerable. Jamie Vardy, the hero of 2016, wasn't getting any younger, and they needed someone to share the burden, but no one stepped up, and the weight of expectation grew heavier with each passing game. In the end, Leicester's spending spree proved that money alone can't guarantee success. Sometimes it just buys you more problems. They say attack wins you games, but defense wins you titles. Well, Leicester City's defense seemed to have missed the memo. They were leaking goals like a sieve. Kasper Schmeichel's departure left a gaping hole in goal. He was a commanding presence, a leader at the back, and replacing him was always going to be a tough ask. Danny Ward came in, but he just couldn't fill those gloves, could he? The backline looked shaky, error-prone, and they were punished time and again. Conceding 65 goals in 29 matches is relegation form, plain and simple. Leicester City developed a nasty habit of conceding early goals. It was like they needed a wake-up call or, a strong cup of coffee to get going. But by the time they woke up, it was often too late. 7 of their first 9 games saw them concede within the first 20 minutes. Now that's not a recipe for success, is it? It puts you on the back foot straight away, piles on the pressure, and really dents the confidence. Remember that Leicester City side that won the title? The togetherness, the fight, the never-say-die attitude? Well, that seemed to have evaporated this season. The team spirit just wasn't there. They looked like a group of individuals lacking cohesion and that collective desire to battle for every ball, every point. And then there was the lack of discipline. Silly mistakes, rash challenges, they all added up. When you're fighting for survival, you need cool heads, not hot tempers. Now, I'm not saying Leicester City overspent, but the financial realities of modern football seem to catch up with them. The construction of their state-of-the-art training facility, while impressive, put a strain on the coffers. And then there was the impact of the pandemic, which hit every club hard. They couldn't splash the cash like they used to, and that limited their ability to strengthen the squad adequately. When you lose key players, it's crucial to replace them adequately. Leicester City, however, struggled to fill the void left by departing stars. Wesley Fofana's move to Chelsea left a massive hole in their defense. He was a rock at the back, and they never really recovered from his departure. And as we discussed earlier, replacing Kasper Schmeichel was always going to be a tall order. These weren't just players, they were leaders, integral parts of the team's spine. So there you have it, the 7 key reasons behind Leicester City's fall from grace. It's a cautionary tale, a reminder that football is a fickle game and nothing can be taken for granted. But it's not all doom and gloom. Leicester City is a proud club with a passionate fan base. They've bounced back before and they can do it again. What they need now is stability, a clear vision, and some shrewd decision-making. The Championship is a tough league, but with the right approach, Leicester City can rise again.